Hi, this is Lara Robertson from the Waco ISD Education Foundation here at Tennyson Middle School. Sean Knuckles, an art teacher here at Tennyson, was awarded a grant, Bowls for Art, from the Waco ISD Education Foundation. Part of that grant included a kiln and purchases for the students to be able to mold and fire their own ceramics. This evening, they are selling their Bowls for Art as a fundraiser to sustain their project in order to be able to continue the ceramics program going for years to come. So this evening, we'll be talking with the principal and Mr. Knuckles and a few students about the process and some of the difficulties they've encountered, along with the great rewards of being able to fire their own ceramics here at Tennyson Middle School. All right, and joining me now, we have Lisa Hall, the principal of Tennyson Middle School. Thank you for joining us this evening, Lisa. Can you tell us a little bit about the impact that you have seen of Education Foundation grants and the benefit that you have seen here on your campus with your faculty and your students?
I think the biggest thing is it gives the teachers an opportunity to think outside of the box. We try to do a really good job here of giving teachers the resources that they need for the students to be successful in class, but what it does is it gives them the opportunity to think outside of that, outside of what they know that they're going to get from the campus. So it makes them really stretch their imaginations and really show the kids too when they win, hey, you know, all you have to do is just think outside of the box and look at what can happen if you work hard. So I think that's been cool. It also gets other teachers excited the next year when they see the fruits of those grants. So other teachers are like, wow, you got that from that grant? I'm going to do it too. So it just kind of feeds off itself and just on and on and on. And it's really cool to see, just to see the effects.
Thank you so much. We're here tonight specifically to look at the Bowls for Art, which was written by Mr. Knuckles, and it was intended to be a self-sustaining fundraising project. Can you tell me what has the vibe been around campus so far with the kids having the chance to, create and fire and paint their own pieces? What has that been like? What have you heard back from the students about that?
What I've heard is just the enthusiasm for the students, because they would have never dreamed of many of our students to have the opportunity to work with clay, to build something with their own hands. And so, but it's been done in such a cool atmosphere in that it's a safe environment. So it's okay if you quote unquote make a mistake, but really there are no mistakes because every bowl that's created is beautiful in and of itself. And so it gives them the opportunity to express themselves, to, again, for them to think outside of the box, and then to have an opportunity to learn a craft that they would have never had the opportunity to learn before. I'm really hoping actually that some kid from this, like maybe even goes on to do this maybe as a living and as a passion or even as a hobby, and they'll say, it's because I was at Tennyson Middle School and my teacher showed us this. And every day, Mr. Knuckles is wheeling his little cart down by my office with the little bowls that he's fired, that night. And he stops to show me his favorites, and I go out to look at my favorites.
All right, well, thank you so much, Ms. Hall, and we're excited to be able to have the opportunity to once again fund a grant here at Tennyson Middle School. Thank you so much. All right, and now we have Faith, an 8th grader here at Tennyson Middle School, joined by Aiden, a 7th grader here at Tennyson. And they are two of the students who have created some of the ceramic bowls that we've been looking at this evening. So we're going to just kind of dive in and ask them a few questions about their experience with creating these ceramic bowls. So how about you, Faith? Tell me, what was the most exciting part of getting to mold and fire your very own piece of ceramic?
I think it was just, getting to make it your own and doing something that you want to do with it.
Okay. Aiden, tell me, how difficult was it? Can you kind of maybe walk me through the process of what made it difficult, or what was easier than you thought, or what was more difficult than you thought it was going to be?
The part that was difficult is you had to throw it down, and if you had air trapped in the clay, whenever you heat it up later when you were finished, it would kind of bust and break. But one of the more harder parts is like getting the shape of the bowl while it's spinning, because there's a paddle and it spins as you're making the bowl.
So what would happen if you found that it did mess up or you made a mistake while you're doing it? What was the process then to fix that?
You would have to start over, basically.
And how do you do that?
You take the clay and you have to reshape it, everything. You have to re-throw it and get all the air out again.
Hey, Faith, you talked about liking to make it your own, and that was one of the really exciting parts about it. Can you describe to us what was the bowl like that you made that has already sold tonight? What did it look like, and why did you pick the colors or the shape or the design that you chose?
Well, I just my bowl was kind of small,
Okay.
and then it was kind of heavy too. I painted the outside of it red, and then the inside black, and I painted like the top edges black. And when it was in the kiln and it was heating up, the black dripped down the sides, so it looked really cool. And so I guess.
Aiden, can you tell us a little bit about what was a bowl like that you also made that is also already sold tonight? Can you tell us a little bit about what it looked like and why you made the design choices you did?
I just wanted it to look good. I like the color blue, so I painted it blue. Kind of like this one, but it's just blue.
I saw a few of the bowls had like a stamped design on them. Did either one of you utilize a stamped design?
I did.
Did you watch anyone do that? And if so, what was that process like? Did it make it more difficult, or did it make it pretty comparable?
It was actually kind of difficult because you had to get like something that would scratch it off, and if you would scratch it too deep, it could possibly crack, and you would have to start all over again.
What would you say was the most surprising thing about this process? You know, we look at bowls and dishes every time whenever we might eat dinner at our parents' house or at grandma's house, and we never really think about the process of making them. So what was probably the most surprising thing for you about what it takes to make a bowl in this case? What was the most shocking thing about the ceramics process?
I didn't think it was gonna take so long to make the bowls, so it was kind of like shocking, like how fast or like how long it took, and then how long it took in the kiln to heat. And so it was like shocking, because like you never really think about it, and then here you are doing it in person yourself, and then you're making your own.
What about you, Aiden? What was the most shocking part about the process for you?
Well, it's just building it because, like I said, when it's spinning, some parts of it can fly off as it's spinning. That's why you have to keep your hands on it at all times, so parts of it doesn't fly off.
You're holding right now a square one, and you guys were talking earlier about the difficulty behind a square bowl versus a round bowl. I know, Aiden, you talked about some personal experience, so can you tell me a little bit about why a square bowl was more difficult to actually mold than a round bowl, and what were the difficulties behind that?
For one, like this part, while it's spinning, you have to keep the shape of it. It's not like the circle one where you can just put your hands on it and it will keep most of the shape.
We used the lid to make that.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, we also use the lid to make like a lid container, something like that, to make these too.
Tell me, do you know how many you guys made total, like as a group, how many bowls total Tennyson made?
About an average of 180.
Man, that's pretty impressive. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Do either one of you see a future in creating more ceramics for either one of you? Like, did you enjoy the process so much that you can't wait to jump into it again, or you want to pursue this anymore?
I'd rather wait and see if we can get some more so we can make them.
Awesome. Well, I think you guys did great on your sales tonight, so hopefully you'll be able to do that. What about you, Faith?
I want to do it again. It was fun. I remember I did it when I was in elementary school, and doing this year brought back old memories of that, and it was fun. I enjoyed it.
All right. Well, thanks to Faith and Aiden for taking a few minutes to talk to us this evening about their ceramic bowls. Thank you, guys. All right, now joining me, we have Mr. Sean Knuckles, who is the art teacher here at Tennyson Middle School, and he was the writer and recipient of the Bowls for Art Education Foundation grant. So, Mr. Knuckles, can you tell me a little bit about what inspired you to write this grant for a creative classroom project?
Well, at the beginning of the year, I always ask my students, what's the one project that you could do, and then I would include it. And every year they said, we want to do that thing where you spin and it's the mushy clay. And, and I was like, well, we don't have that equipment. So last year I started the grant process to write a grant so that we can get the equipment to do that squishy, rolly, throwy thing. So we got a lot of clay equipment and we did it this year.
Well, we're excited that you get to use the squishy rolly thing. So tell me a little bit, I know part of the grant application process and part of the thing that you indicated was that you really wanted to make this a self-sustaining project.
Correct.
And so part of the thing that you wanted to do as one of your goals was to be able to utilize the kiln and utilize the students being able to make ceramic bowls to then sell. So tell us a little bit about the event going on tonight and what you guys have done in order to try to fulfill that goal.
Well, the whole grant was to be self-sustaining. The foundation is very interested in that they don't have to give you money every year to do the same project over and over. So we had to come up with a sales pitch really to raise money every year to buy glaze and clay and stuff. And they gave us quite a bit of money for the equipment. And so we bought that this summer, and it was kind of a mad dash to get it all installed. And I'm very lucky to have a very wonderful principal. She was very supportive. Everybody at the foundation was very supportive. Miss Hall, actually, I said, if I write this grant, will you put the plug into the wall? Because they had to have electricians come in, the rules for getting a kiln, and because it releases toxic chemicals when things are fired. So the rules have changed for, in the past, the teachers had the kiln in their classroom and they would fire it up all the time, and it was very dangerous for the kids. So that now they have to have vents or be outside. And Ms. Hall says, well, we could put it here. And I was like, if I write the grant, will you put the plug in? Because it's very expensive. You would think it wouldn't be, but it is, to have all these people come in and make sure the plug's in the right place. So she was very supportive of that. So I wrote the grants, we got the money, and we started rolling. We had some problems because I didn't know anything about ceramics. I skipped over ceramics because I'm a master painter, really. But the kids wanted to do it so bad, I was like, okay, we'll all learn together. So basically, I got all this equipment and I didn't know how to use it. So I had a local ceramic artist, Miss Doreen Plott, who came in and she showed me how to use the kiln for the first time. And we kind of burned up some stuff, but it's a learning process. Everything exploded. And so the kids got to see that. And I was like, I don't know how to do this more than you, so we're going to do this together. So it's been a fun process.
I think that's kind of part of the magic, is the kids watching you get to learn as well, and kind of getting to see that sometimes there's bumps in the road. So that's kind of an exciting learning process for them. Can you tell us a little bit about specifically the fundraiser that you guys did tonight in order to meet that goal of being self-sustaining?
So we started this event. This is our first one, and we hope to have it every year. And the kids are going to make bowls. And we have sold the bowls tonight for $10, and that included dinner. We had a spaghetti dinner with dessert and drink. And the money raised tonight will actually go back into buying more glaze and clay, because the clay is very expensive, and the glaze is the most expensive part, because each little pint coats about 8 bowls, and that pint of glaze is $18 to $22. So,
do you have an estimate about how many bowls you were able to successfully sell this evening?
as you heard Aiden say, we made 180 bowls, and we've sold close to 100 tonight.
Are the remaining 80 bowls still going to be available for purchase even after this evening? How would someone go about purchasing one of those bowls?
Come to Tennyson.
Say that again.
I think we're gonna have them up front here on display, so they'll be able to come in and get them.
That's great. What has been that we asked the kids about what was the most shocking part of the process for them? And since you were kind of learning as you went as well, what was the most shocking part of the process of ceramic making for you as well?
I thought I would be able to throw a bowl straight away. I thought, it's just holding it and molding it, and this thing was spinning, and you can control the speed, but you would think that you would be able to have more control over it. And you really cannot take your hands off of it. And if you do, you have to do it very, very, very slowly. Because if you like just bump it a little bit, it spins out of control. And then you have to start all over. You have to re-wedge the clay, get the air bubbles out. And I think everyone was amazed how much work goes into making each bowl, because it takes 2 firings. The kiln heats up to 1880 degrees. And then it takes 2 days for it to cool down, for you to open it up. And each bowl takes 2 firings, one to bisque fire, which makes it hard, and the other one is to do the color.
Can you tell me some of the reactions that you had from your students, the ones who wanted to make the squishy wobbly things or squishy rolly things? What have been their reactions about finally actually getting to do that? The dream that they had. Can you tell some of the reactions of them in class or after they've seen their finished product? What have been some of the reactions of some of your students?
They were like scrambling to be the first. And then everybody tried it, and they were like, oh, I don't know, can I do this over here? And I was like, come on, let's do it again, let's do it again. And just to see them make progress and actually throwing bigger and better bowls each time.
What would you say has been the most rewarding part of not only from the beginning of writing the grant, to winning the grant, to then actually putting it into implementation, what would you say has been the most rewarding part along the way?
Oh, the reaction of the kids, most definitely. Because the bowls are not very creative. They're a simple process. They're very artisan to actually throw each bowl. But I think the exciting part will be buying the next round of clay and glaze and doing more sculptural, creative things. Because bowls are pretty simple. And I think it's a learning curve. I think the bowls and the other ceramic projects that we're going to be doing later in April will be more interesting for the public and for the students.
All right, well, thank you so much, Mr. Knuckles. Like I said, we've been discussing the Bowls for Art Education Foundation grant here at Tennyson Middle School, and we join you to continue watching for more great things happening at Waco ISD here on WISD Channel 17.